St. John Ambulance is a trade name used by a number of affiliated organizations in different countries, counties, states or provinces dedicated to the teaching and practice of medical first aid and the provision of ambulance and community volunteer services, all of which derive their origins from the St. John Ambulance Association founded in 1877 in the United Kingdom. The active uniformed first aid is known as the St. John Ambulance Brigade. Community services were introduced in 1887. There are now more than 500,000 such volunteers worldwide. The brand name and logo are owned by the Most Venerable Order of the Hospital of St. John of Jerusalem, with the international office located in London, England. Logos may vary in each country but always contain the 8-pointed Maltese cross as the essential identifier. The membership aspect of St. John Ambulance is largely ranked. Members fall into a hierarchical structure of reporting. Ranks run from corporals, through sergeants and officers, all the way up to high national ranks. But there is significant variation between priories and it is hard to generalize the structure too much from an international perspective. Most members of St. John Ambulance are not themselves members of the order, and vice versa. So a major presence of the order does not dictate a major presence of St. John Ambulance. Most notably, the Order of St. John and St. John Ambulance are non-denominational, so as to serve all. St. John Ambulance works on a more geographical nature than the order, and has to contend with the differing national laws, medical practices and cultures of countries, national and regional. The legal status of each organization varies by country, province, state, county, territory and municipality. In both England and Wales, the resident St. John Ambulance organizations are simultaneously but separately registered as charities and companies, whereas St. John Ambulance South Africa is a distinct entity registered as a public benefit organization. The presence of St. John Ambulance is different among countries. St. John Ambulance in Australia, St. John Ambulance in British forces overseas, St. John Ambulance in Canada, St. John Ambulance in Cyprus, St. John Ambulance in England and the Islands, St. John Ambulance in Hong Kong, St. John Ambulance in India, St. John Ambulance in Ireland, St. John Ambulance in Malaysia, St. John Ambulance in New Zealand, St. John Ambulance in Singapore, St. John Ambulance in South Africa, St. John Ambulance in Sri Lanka, St. John Ambulance in Wales, St. John Ambulance in Zimbabwe, St. John Ambulance in Kenya, St. John Ambulance in Uganda, St. John Ambulance in Tanzania, St. John Ambulance in Northern Ireland, St. John Ambulance in Mauritius. Johanniter International. In the aftermath of World War II, British soldiers established St. John Brigades in Germany. In cooperation with the Johanniter Orden, the Johanniter Unfallhilfe was founded in 1952. In recent years, more national St. John societies, not directly linked to the British St. John Ambulance, have been founded in Europe, notably in Austria and Poland. At the international meeting of the governing bodies of the Orders of St. John in the course of celebrations to mark the Order's 900th anniversary, in 1999, the idea to cooperate more intensively within Europe was born. As a result, Johanniter International today links 16 national St. John organizations all over Europe. Name and mottos. In the phrase Order of St. John, Saint is an abbreviation for saint, and corporate and national logos began to reflect this as a change from saint. In 2006 to 7, the unusual name of the organization has been known to cause confusion to members of the public, and many people often assume that the St. John prefix indicates a church-related organization. In fact, in its modern form, the prefix refers to the Order of St. John. The Order's mottos are pro fide and pro utilitate hominem. The Priory of England and the Islands has recently replaced the Latin mottos with a single English sentence, "For the faith and in the service of humanity," which some see as a controversial move. However, in December 2006 it was agreed by Priory Council that this move should be partially reversed and the Latin mottos were reintroduced in the Cadet Code of Chivalry structure of the Order. The Order is not to be confused with the Sovereign Military Order of Malta or other members of the Alliance of the Orders of St. John of Jerusalem. There are also copycat organizations using the St. John name which are not generally recognized by members of the Alliance of Orders of St. John. International 11 priories currently exist: England and the Islands, Scotland, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, South Africa, United States of America, Wales, St. John, Kenya, St. John, Singapore, Hong Kong. Commanderies exist in Northern Ireland, Western Australia. The Priory of England and the Islands is the home priory of the Order, and any country which does not belong to its own dedicated priory is assumed into this home priory. Most of these are small Commonwealth islands, or countries in which there is only a minor presence. Local St. John councils and national St. John councils are governed ultimately by the St. John Council's Regulations 1975 of the Grand Priory of the Order and are legally incorporated locally under relevant legislation. In countries such as Australia and Canada, the Priory is a separate corporation whose purpose is to administer the Order of St. John on behalf of its prior. St. John Ambulance Training and Volunteer Professional Services are governed by council boards of directors. Local St. John councils may pay an assessment to the Priory in exchange for services such as investiture services, international relations with Grand Priory and/or research on products and services for and on behalf of councils. As a voluntary organization, St. John Ambulance is a community-based and community-owned charitable entity ultimately accountable to the community in which it operates. That said, the relationship between the Order of St. John and St. John Ambulance is not directly paralleled. This explains somewhat why a breakdown into priories may not be tantamount to a breakdown of St. John Ambulance. Key dates: the 10th of July 1877, St. John Ambulance Association formed to teach first aid in large railway centres and mining districts. June 1887, St. John Ambulance Brigade is formed as a uniformed organisation to provide first aid and ambulance services at public events. The 14th of May 1888, British Order of St. John is granted Royal Charter by Queen Victoria. 1908, by mutual agreement with St. Andrew's Ambulance Association, St. John Ambulance Association ceased operating in Scotland but the order continued to operate. 1974, the St. John Ambulance Association and the St. John Ambulance Brigade were amalgamated to form the present St. John Ambulance Foundation. 1999, the Order of St. John celebrated its 900th anniversary worldwide. St. John Ambulance in popular culture. The St. John logo appears on the right door of several models of the TARDIS in the long-running British series Doctor Who. The St. John logo also appears on the windows of a hut dedicated to first aid at a church fair shown in an episode of Jeeves and Wooster. In 2016, the UK St. John Ambulance organisation, via its website, launched a campaign for baby CPR featuring a song by animated nursery rhyme characters, including Humpty Dumpty, Jack and Jill, Incy Wincy Spider and the Cat and the Fiddle.